Next up, let's welcome anchor Paul Thomas. He's a member of the LGBTQ+ Advisory Committee to the City of Miami Beach. He's on the board of directors for the Point Foundation and also on the endorsement committee for SAFE. Paul, Hedwig and the Angry Inch screening is at Stonewall Museum on March 13th. Tell me what's happening.
On March 13th, 2025, the iconic rock musical film Hedwig and the Angry Inch will be screened as part of the Movie Night series at Stonewall National Museum and Archives and Library. The event will begin at 6:30 p.m. and is organized in collaboration with OUTSFL Florida, celebrating LGBTQ culture and stories. Directed by and starring John Cameron Mitchell, the 2001 film follows the journey of Hedwig, a transgender punk rock singer from East Berlin who undergoes a botched sex change operation and forms a band to tour the United States. For more information, visit stonewall-museum.org. You know, this movie originally was out in 2001.
Okay.
And I'm always happy when they kind of bring these subjects back and they bring them back for that next generation. And I think in today's times, especially when people are so fascinated with trans people that they cannot stop talking about them, and not in a positive way. So my thing is, hey, if they're going to bring this movie back, and if it's a chance to really have these conversations again, to highlight them again, to kind of show how people are responding to this situation, I think all the better for the community. You know, one thing that we don't want to do is we don't want to hide, we don't want to disappear. We want to have these conversations and have people find that space, that community, where they can have them. So I'm all for it. I haven't seen that movie. How long ago was 2001? I'm getting old.
24 years
Yeah,
old.
I'm getting old. That was a while ago. But I'm glad it's back.
It's important that it's also at the Stonewall, which I'm grateful that the Stonewall is doing their history bit, because we need to educate.
Absolutely.
Especially, and I know I'm sounding like an old whatever. But, you know, a lot of the younger kids just don't understand even 2001. I mean, I'm 60, so I was in the 80s, and I was fighting the AIDS routine, and I was, you know, and here in 2001, this Brave movie came out. It was an under budget, no nothing budget, 10 movie theaters kind of thing in the whole country. So for the younger kids to see, even if this is a somewhat mythical story, you know, just to understand what 2001 was was like, and then to get into the Stonewall and go, we have this resource here?
Yeah.
What the hell is this?
Yeah.
Why do I not know about this?
Right.
Why am I not a member of this?
Yep, and that's what Robert Keston wants to do, right? With stuff like this, he wants to make those conversations happen. Excuse me. He's not just gonna put on this movie and that's it. You know what I mean? That will bring up conversations, right? Again, the movie is about a botched surgery, right? Someone who wants to transition and has to go through this horrific experience, right? It's not a pretty thing
because they can't get it
because there was no access to it. Sound familiar?
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Hormone therapy, no counseling, just boom.
Just boom. You know, and the lasting effects that did, you know, this movie, I don't remember when it came out, but I remember it becoming a cult classic in community almost overnight, where it was, you have to see this, right?
Well, it's queer cinema.
You know, it is queer cinema. And then they put it on a stage, and I got to see it as a theatrical piece as well. You know, I love Robert Keston and all he does. He just recently had Bruce Villanger over there. He always has like fun people that are part of our LGBTQ+ history. You know?
I think anytime there's a chance for somebody to sit and go, that's me. Like to watch something that's provocative and they can identify with it, and maybe then that'll give them whatever they need to kind of take that next step, to ask that next question.
And to also know you're not alone. That's the biggest thing in community. You know what happens? That we think that we're alone.
The story is dated and super relevant for now. Like, so this is this botched surgery and someone trying to get out of but it's interesting that right now, when trans people are so under attack, and in the movie, this trans experience is how he gets freedom, or how we would probably say she or they now gets freedom, because this is how they get out of the country into this is still during the communist, you know, the Iron Curtain or whatever. And so the transition brought freedom and which is meant to do anyway. Like when you get to be your authentic self, that's meant to bring freedom. So there's a great metaphor in that, even though I'm not sure that was the original intent, but it certainly is relevant right now.
Absolutely.
That's for sure. And that is the big LGBTQ story for today. There is no other queer nonprofit media platform like this in the entire world. Support our LGBTQ plus stories by subscribing and sharing to Queer News Tonight. And we look forward to seeing you at Hedwig and the Angry Inch screening at Stonewall Museum on March 13th.